Is 65 the new 45? Probably not. But there's a lot of other things you could say about turning 65. So earlier this year, Kaycee Krysty asked a whole bunch of people to say it in 65 words or less. She's here to talk about what happened. Welcome, Kaycee.
It's great to be here, Deborah.
So tell me, what inspired the 65 on 65 project?
Well, a number of things. I'm not 65 yet myself, but I am actually looking forward to it. A few years ago, I had a brush with my own mortality, and it really got me thinking about life transition and change and all the important things that you need to do at this point in your life. And I was comparing that with what was going on with particularly the commentary on all the baby boomers. Everybody turning 65, and there was a lot of negative press about it. And I thought, that doesn't fit with the people I know. I'm going to ask them to talk about it. So we sent out a request to a few people about whether or not they could put together 65 words on being 65, and we're really surprised with the wonderful things that came back. Part of what made the project so interesting is trying to say what you want to say about a major life transition in only 65 words puts a real discipline in place and an economy of language that's really wonderful.
Do you have to be 65 to participate?
Actually, we had people write that participated from their 50s on up into their 80s. The way I think about 65 is it's an artificial construct, really. But it does represent something in our culture about when you become an elder. And I really wanted people talking about that that's not how they see themselves. They see themselves as having many important things to do.
What was the range of responses that you got?
Well, we got some that are hilarious. One person who writes humor is fabulous. On up to some things that are very, very poignant. And it just kind of depends on where people were at the point that they wrote their essays. But they're very thoughtful and they're very interesting, I find, with little gems in them about how other people are thinking about this important period of life.
It doesn't have to be positive, in other words.
Well, not everything is positive, just in life. And so, no, it doesn't have to be positive, though many of them are positive because people are looking forward to this next stage of life and thinking about, again, what is the important work that I still need to do?
Feeling that our time is limited and we should make the most of it?
Absolutely. And one of the things I was hoping to do is to get people to think about that term legacy and what would I be doing where I'm living that legacy as opposed to just leaving something. And that's a thread you'll see running through many of the essays. People are really thinking about, how do I make this world a better place? What is the things that I need to be doing at this point in my life?
Right now the essays are on the website, the wealth management firm that you work for,
Right.
that bought the firm that you had started some
Right.
years ago.
Yeah.
Are they going to stay there? Is that a temporary lodging? Will they travel like a museum exhibit? What do you have planned?
Well, you know, the 65 and 65 project was one of those things that just kind of happened organically. And so right now, yes, the essays are housed on our website for Laird Norton Tyee. Their future could be any number of things. What I want to do, though, and just make sure, is that people get a chance just to read them and think about them and think about what their own 65 words would be. We'd be happy to have additional submissions, but even if you don't want to make a submission, write it down and share it with your family and your colleagues and your friends and see what they're thinking about these very important years ahead.
But people could sign on and write. There's
Absolutely.
no restrictions. Anybody can sign on.
Anybody can sign on. Anybody can give us their 65 words.
Well, terrific. I hope we'll have a lot more of them. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Deborah.